Good day, everybody, and welcome to another edition of the Military and Foreign Affairs Network. I am your host, the voice of reason. Today, we are continuing our ongoing coverage of the war between the Russian Federation and Ukraine. So first today, I have pulled up the deep state map, and we have gone back all the way to July 8th. And what I wanted to do first is speed things up a little bit and show you, the viewer, what exactly has happened within the Robotynya salient, this area here. This is the area in which the Ukrainians are reporting the greatest success. Now, the problem for the Ukrainians, we have not seen a traditional breakthrough. We have not seen Russian forces lose cohesion in this area. We've seen Russian forces respond and patch the Robotynya salient that has occurred in this area. In fact, we're starting to see, as we speak, additional Ukrainian forces being pulled from near Staromayorsky and repositioned along the Robotynya salient. So let's fast forward and let's look exactly what has happened over the last several weeks. Here we go. And I'm moving kind of quick. We've cleared 1 month, and that is the extent of Ukrainian operational success in this area. So very, very limited in terms of territory captured. Obviously, Russian resistance is very high. Let's pull up the trench lines where you can see the fortifications and lines of Russian defense as well. And then we'll continue to move forward here till where we are currently. So it is expanding. Now, what's interesting is the map updates from the 20th to the 21st, and you can see the repositioning of Russian forces designed to blunt or attempt to blunt any further Ukrainian advance. Repositioning of forces, Russian forces fall back. Ukrainian forces are now in some of the outermost trench works and fortifications of the Russian area, just to the south of Robotynya and to the east of that area as well. And again, the area outside of the blue, the area that runs from the blue to the Russian-controlled red area, is contested. Active fighting is ongoing, and neither side claims control. So 2 months, and that is the extent of the Ukrainian advance. Now, you cannot define this as a successful operation for the Ukrainians. The reason why is many in the Ukrainian high command believed that with this offensive, they would see the Russian forward defensive lines across the entire front, running from the Dnieper River all the way east towards Volhodar, collapse. And I believe the Ukrainians envisioned some sort of pincer maneuver based on operations south of Orikhiv and operations near Staromayorsky. I think this Staromayorsky operation over here on the eastern flank of this offensive operation was very pivotal. I think ultimately the goal was, again, a pincer movement in which these two forces eventually met and pocketed all Russian forces between Orikhiv and Staromayorsky. That may have been the goal, and then ultimately, if Russian forces were to ultimately collapse, obviously they would have moved straight south towards Berdyansk and ultimately the ultimate prize, Mariupol. And I think initially the initial Ukrainian thought process, strategy, was that Tokmak was going to be more or less a sideshow, that the seizure of Tokmak was going to be a foregone conclusion because of this pincer operation by Ukrainian forces in these two areas. It didn't happen. Now, the secondary prize for the Ukrainians right now appears to be a transition of forces from the area near Staromyorsk in this area back over to the operation south of Orikhiv, designed to possibly pressure Tokmak. But at this point, you cannot call this operation successful. It is a slog, and the Ukrainian forces are losing large amounts of manpower and material. Now, I thought it worth noting a blurb I've seen over the past 24 hours, in which it's reporting that a single Ukrainian Leopard 2 engaged and destroyed 2 Russian main battle tanks. Look, that is going to happen. And for it to make the top headline news, in which a lot of content providers are talking about, hey, this Leopard 2 engaged and destroyed 2 Russian tanks. Yeah, that happens. That's what war is. Is the Leopard 2 main battle tank a better quality designed, a better engineered vehicle than a T-90, a T-72? Absolutely. I'm not going to argue that. But, again, the amount of Leopard 2s, the amount of Challenger 2s, and eventually the amount of M1A1s, M1A2s that the Ukrainians have is far below what is actually needed for the Ukrainians to be successful in some of these ongoing campaigns. They don't have a lot of these tanks. And tank-on-tank warfare is not very prevalent from what we have seen. We have seen a lot more tanks being destroyed by other systems, such as drones, anti-tank guided weapons, and even artillery. Artillery is playing a big role in this war. So yes, we are going to see the off time where a Ukrainian tank or even a Russian tank is able to destroy a multitude of either Ukrainian or Russian vehicles, or vice versa. You're going to see it. We saw earlier, several weeks ago, one Russian T-72 or T-72 variant tank engage a understrength company or a reinforced platoon-sized element of Ukrainian armored vehicles and have great success, which also included 2 T-64s. So it's going to happen. You're going to see that. But again, it should not be right now the ultimate news headline in terms of what we're watching on the battlefield. More concerning for the Ukrainians, I would say at this point, is these deep penetration strikes we have seen take place throughout Ukraine, that the Ukrainians are very mum about in terms of casualties taken by its forces when the Russians launched these Iskander missile strikes deep into Ukrainian territory, focusing on Ukrainian barracks, command and control nodes, and supply depots. We believe the casualty rates are incredibly high in those strikes that the Russians have conducted against Ukrainian forces. So we're going to continue to watch what is happening south of Orikhiv. Again, it just does not look like a successful operation. It's looking more and more likely that the Russians have executed a trap in this area designed to pocket several Ukrainian brigades, condense several Ukrainian brigades into a very narrow corridor, and then start to pound those Ukrainian forces with standoff assets. And I think that's what we're seeing right now. So that's our episode for today, Sunday. I hope everyone has a pleasant day, and we will be making more content very, very shortly. Thank you for joining us. More Lessons in Insanity, more coverage of the civil war in the former state of Ethiopia as well. Stay tuned. Have a good day.